Dumelang, molweni. Hello, everyone. Today is the 22nd of November, and we meet again at our annual general meeting. And I'm very, very happy that we could make it. I know other people couldn't, but this is our time to reflect on what the year has been like. But before we continue, I would just like us to take a moment because a lot happens within a year. And one of the things that happened, one of the things that happened during the year is some of our dear ones pass on. And I just like us to take a moment to think about the people in our lives that we have left, that I know have been supporting us in our work. I'll turn off the screen for 30 minutes. Hello?
Hi, Sissy. How are you?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
I don't, okay, I can't see myself, but let me just continue to speak. I don't know what happened.
But
Okay.
You
can
are
hear
audible and can see you.
Sorry? I am audible.
You
Yes,
are
ma'am.
clearly audible and we can see you. Everything is going well this side.
Oh, okay. I don't see myself. Let me just continue. Okay. Just a moment of silence to remember those that have departed. Thank you very much. I just need to find out about apologies. Do we have any apologies that we need to note? And can I also remind us and request that on the screen, those that are present on the screen, that if you could write your names, because they serve, they help us to record who's been here. But do we have any apologies that we need to know about?
Good morning, Lalu. Yes, we do. We have apologies from Tami Dlambulo, Duelo Ditlhabela, Ryan Johnson, Lihlohonolo Nche, Anna Paula Little, David Anta Hauta, Amgelani Kubai, Paulina Mutibe, Spielman Matibela, Lucky Mudogwa, Simpiwe Khadebe, Ngosnati Taliwe, and Noluthando Baba. Those are the apologies that we received through our RSVP link, as well as from some of our colleagues. If we do have other apologies, we can just note them in the chat and we'll note them for the minutes.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Okay. And so last time when we meet also, we do have a record of what we discussed. And those come in the form of minutes. And these will be the minutes of the 9th of December, 2023. Could I request that we project the minutes just to take a moment to refresh our minds and to just remind ourselves about what we talked about then, so that not the financials, the minutes from 2023. The minutes, this is the agenda.
Hi, Lalu. These are the minutes. They start with the agenda.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay.
Do you want me to talk through them at all, or are you going to say anything about them, or do you want me to just scroll slowly?
Let me be fair to other people. Maybe it might be useful if you can then just talk through them, because I've read them and I have them. I might just make so maybe you can just skip those up, just those that were present, but maybe talk through everything else.
Sure. So there was approval of the 2023 minutes. There were matters arising, which were, in fact, all to be dealt with in the full report. There was the chairperson's report, which is here in full. There was the financial report presented by Tutor. And there was a detailed financial report available on the website. There was a vote on acceptance of the financial statements and the auditor. Then there were board matters. There was an introduction of the board members. There was the approval of co-opted board members, voting on the continued mandate of the chairperson, fundraising projects, and then we went into the director's report, which contained all the activities for the previous year. We spoke about the Social Employment Fund. We spoke about new staff and interns, organisational matters, training that had happened, notable achievements, the Cradle of Creativity report from 2023, and then some of the projects, National Arts Festival, Arts for Youth, Girl Power, Young Critics, and these were discussed under our 4 pillars: unlocking learner creativity, Chiffonard, Joburg Moves, pushing boundaries, Kickstarter, Yippee, and then morning catch-ups, Member Mondays, take a child to the theatre, the international work, etc. And then we spoke about the way ahead. So we had the Marseille meeting, Cradle of Creativity 26, Arts-Rich Schools, and then there was feedback on the report from the members and various discussions. There was some discussion of the current status of the arts sector, which is recorded here. The proposed dates for the 2025 board meetings and annual general meeting, and then thank yous and closure.
Thank you very much. I would like to find out if there are any corrections that you feel might need to be raised from the minutes. So you could raise up your hand, or you could just note them on the chat for us to have a look at any corrections. So when you raise the issue of corrections, maybe start from page 1 and then we'll go until we get but direct us to the page where you are having a correction. Anything on page 1? Anything on page 2? Page 3? Page number 4? Page number 5? Okay, just okay. Page number 6. I need someone to please help us also to keep looking in the charts so that we can note them. Page number 7. Page 9. Page 10. Page 11. Page 12. Page 13. Page 14. Page 15. Page 16. Page 17. Page 18. Page 19. Page 20. Page 21. Page 22. I need help just to go back to the chat and just confirm if there's any of the corrections, if they've been captured. Any of the corrections that may have come from the
There are no
The-
corrections that have been proposed.
okay, so I would like to request also that for us to note some of those present who extended apologies. So can I then ask one of us to move this to be a correct record of our meeting of the 9th of December, 2023? Mama Khatla, are you moving that this be a correct?
Yes, Chair.
Thank you. Can I please ask for a seconder?
Chair, I will second.
Thank you very much. So our minutes of the 9th of December 2023 have been approved. And I would like us now to note from the minutes, and some of the things that you might note as matters arising might be covered in the report, in the reports that will be coming. But is there anything that you feel is rising as a matter from the minutes that have been read?
May I just say that the date that you've just given is not the correct date. It's the 23rd of November, 2024. You're giving the date of the previous AGM to the last one.
Oh, okay, 20 years, sorry.
Sorry, so these are the 23rd of November, 2024 minutes, yeah.
Yes. The AGM took place on the 9th, yes. Any matters arising? Okay. In that case, I would like us to move to the chairperson's report, and to get us there, I will be reading something that will also be available in our report. And my report is about seeing each and every one of you and thanking you, because I feel that your transformation really needs to be recognized. So the heading of my report is about your transformations are seen, and thank you. And I start with an argument that the UN Convention on the Rights of the Child and the African Charter on the Rights of the Child are also such powerful instruments to help us appreciate how the pillars of protection, provision of services, and participation remain central in our work. And I share with you the story of an eagle that I found quite interesting, especially its courage to transform. I find it very fascinating, particularly on how it mirrors the pain that often accompanies growth. As the story goes, when an eagle grows older, its talons weaken, its beak bends, and its feathers become heavy and matted, making flight difficult. One way forward is to retreat to the mountaintop nest, where it breaks its beak against a rock, pulls out its worn-out talons, and sheds its old feathers. Through this painful renewal, it is reborn, a transformation we might want to glow up. Internationally, we are an old organization. As such, there are many strategies that we need to keep thinking about towards the glow up. One being to be informed by speaking from an empirical evidence. So that there's sort of saying that says, yeah, it can loosely be translated to mean a wise one learns all the time. And like the eagle's transformation, learning can be painful, especially when venturing into unfamiliar territory. In my own journey this year, I had to learn simultaneously about the law, relevant legislative framework impacting children and education, the relevant curriculum topics like life skills, social science, and creative arts, through a partnership between the South African chapter of the International Association of Women Lawyers and the Department of Basic Education with ASSITEJ South Africa. And together, we sought to address child sexual abuse within the broader context of gender-based violence amongst learners in grade 5 and grade 6. So that would be the ages of 10 to 12 here in South Africa. This collaboration led to Nompi, co-written with board member Umpile Malusi, a judicial theatre intervention featuring 30 minutes productions which spotlights the actors or the performers, and 30 minutes that spotlights the audiences or the participants. And the latter helps children to reflect, discuss, and access resources for reporting sexual violations. In one such post-performance workshops, we learned a learner suddenly left, visibly distressed. When a facilitator and teacher followed up, the child disclosed a harrowing experience of sexual abuse and pleaded that nothing be done, fearing the perpetrator who still roamed the neighborhood. In that moment, learning about this, it felt as though the beak of theater had struck the rock, the tension between giving voice to pain and protecting those who fear to speak. Silence, though protective, risks defeating the very purpose of such interventions. Yet the child's fear was painfully real, confirming that most of the child sexual abusers are known to them because they can be their parents, their caregivers, their relatives, and friends. They may ask for one thing, these perpetrators, and that is their silence. On the other hand, the law requires of us to report such cases. What would you do? This is where our knowledge of the law becomes important. Through the case study of Nompilo project, I urge all of us to be more knowledgeable about the law, and because we are working in schools, to learn more about the relevance of the 3 P's of protection, participation, and provision of services that are highlighted in the beginning. Globally, the numbers of sexual abuse are staggering. Also, our Minister of Basic Education has actually made a clear call to say learners must be protected from abuse. Sadly, the statistics coming from the Eastern Cape, where Nompilo was launched on the 15th of September 2025, are staggering. And so, like the eagle, we too must keep returning to the mountaintop to reflect and learn and renew our ways of working, so that our efforts in child protection may continue to take flight, no matter how painful the transformation. Perhaps the recently commissioned research in ASSITEJ International can be a bedrock from which we to learn and strengthen our efforts of enabling the realization of the 3 P's, for, with, and by children. As the board, we're thinking very strategically about our succession plan. And I'm really taking a moment to call on all of you to consider joining the board and or making recommendations of people that can drive the leadership of this great organization. Joining the board is a voluntary venture. We meet every quarter and every now and then to push strategic decisions of the organization. This year, I am a bit sad, but because we're talking about transformations, I also mustn't be sad because we're bidding farewell to 2 board members, Ismail Mohammed, who has served the organization from the very beginning in 2007. His knowledge of governance has been the bedrock of the board, and I believe his departure is forcing us to go to the mountaintop. I would like to ask for a book, Ishmael, sharing about your journey about ASSITEJ South Africa. So everybody is hearing. We are sort of looking and anticipating a good read, because I also need to write that Ishmael is a good writer. Another board member we're saying farewell to is Obet Mutaung, who joined the organization in 2022. We would like to thank both of them and wish them well in their other ventures. We know they will continue to cheer us on our journey, and we are deeply grateful for their contributions over the years. I would like to thank each and every one of the board members who are here today. I want to thank them for their sacrifice, the sacrifice that they offer to the growth of the organization. Being in the NGO space can be very difficult, especially when proposals are not considered favorably. The board is there bearing the weight of the trying, the waiting, and the writing with with the director, Yvette Hardy, whose vision towards the organization and staff is worth acknowledging every time. She may not make it to the headlines as the leader who saved the arts, nor her staff members, but I need to share with you that she's doing incredible work, both locally and internationally. We see you, Yvette. We see your staff, Yvette, and thank you. For each and every one of you who is here today, thank you. For each member who could not make it physically or online, we thank you. Your work brings about transformations, and you are seen. Thank you. So that was the report, and we get to another very important aspect, which is about the finances. And for this part, I'm going to call upon an incredible board member who's very savvy with the numbers, and that is Tuto. Over to you, Tuto.
I don't know why this little line.
Hi, I think Yvette is going to start, then I will come in after.
Thank you.
Thanks, Tutor. I hope that everybody can see the screen, and I hope you can also see me. But thank you so much, first of all, Lalu, for those words, and for your report and for the support of the whole board to this organization. You really have been an amazing and continue to be amazing. So thank you. The financial report, as you can see here, this is the balance sheet for the previous financial year. So you can see 2024 is compared to 2025. And this is just a snapshot of the assets, the liabilities, and the equity at the end of each of those financial years. I'm sitting here in the Cape Town office with our finance team, Nkosi and Temba, Ezra and Roscoe. And I just want to acknowledge all of them as well in terms of the incredible work that they do in terms of ensuring that we are always compliant and that we are able to make our payments properly and that we're able to keep our records properly. So really thank you to them. The next slide is the financial report, which gives you more of an idea of what we managed to bring into the organization over the financial year. And as you can see here, the majority of the funding is coming from funding and grants. So in other words, funding which is very specific in its purpose. It is being used for a particular project. There are very specific line items as directed by the funder in each case. And that amount is 9,370,632. Then we had membership fees of 21,410. We had donations received. So donations are non-specific. They do not require spending on a particular item in most cases, 44,907. And then other income, which was raised through either providing some services or offering workshops or you'll hear about touring productions. So various means of raising income. We no longer have an investment account, which we are wanting to reinstate, but at the moment we don't. So in terms of interest received, there's nothing showing there. So the total income for the year then was 10,039,594, and the total expenditure 8,168,928. So with a surplus at the end of the year of 1.870666 million. So, I think Tutu will speak to what these numbers mean and also how they compare to our previous years. But we're happy. It hasn't been an easy year in certain respects, but I think, to have this outcome at the end of the year is a very positive thing. So thank you, Tutu. I'm going to stop sharing now and pass over to you and allow you to share from your side.
The AGM and also to discuss how our ASSITEJ has been performing during the year. So can people see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, great. So yeah, I just want to start at the top to kind of also complement what Yvette was saying. Is in terms of overall, if we look at the finance, in terms of the audited financials, ASSITEJ continues as a going concern as the audit is completed successfully. The board is also satisfied with the financial position and report that there is sufficient funds to meet cash requirements going forward. So we have approved the audited financials, which I will show. From an operational perspective, ASSITEJ has performed consistently, delivered on key projects, fulfilling mandate to key clients, stakeholders, donors, and members. What's been good in the past year is that money allocated from donors has been executed on projects, which I'll show, and we've also secured funding for future projects from big donors such as SEF, Ivan Platz, and Nelson Mandela Children's Fund going forward. What has been concerning, which is an ongoing challenge, is that donors' delayed payments and project funding has affected project implementation timelines. But what I mean by that is that we secure funding, but the disbursement has become late from donors. So this is not only an ASSITEJ problem, this is a problem most businesses face, is working capital, is having contracts and having capital coming and being allocated. So it affects your cash flow, and that's kind of affected us. And it's something we need to have solutions going forward. So that's on a high level. In terms of the income statement, if we look at the income from 2024 was around 16 million, just under 17 million. This year, the revenue has been reported as around 10 million, but this is also because some of the grants haven't been reported because the money hasn't been dispersed. So actually, ASSITEJ has performed consistently to last year, and this is actually things I'm referring to. So we've actually kept a consistent trajectory in implementing projects from donors. Looking at revenue, I think as Yvette has spoken to this, so that we have income, as I've just described, consistent to last year. But what we need to understand is that grants cover over 90% of our income. With the safe capital injection, we'll show consistent operation. What we need to do is increase income from memberships and other sources to diversify and hedge our income risk. So as you can see, grants are over 90%, and that's something to work on. In terms of project expenses, what you can see on the left, like SEF, again, a big donor, compared to other donors' memberships. And this shows just how we have a lot of small donors, and we need to look at increasing income from these sources in some way. So ASSITEJ is very impactful and has quite a lot of stakeholders. That's what we need to actually understand. From operating expenses, what we can see is that ASSITEJ, a lot of our expenses are actually directed at employee salaries to fulfill projects. So the picture there is at 4.5 million in the past year compared to the 5.2 last year. And also in terms of other operating costs are related to fulfilling projects, so all the money allocated is going to impact in the communities. And yeah, that's just on a high level what's happened in the year. So yeah, thanks, Yvette. I think you can carry on. You stop sharing. Thanks.
Thank you, Yvette. Can you continue?
Yeah, so I think that really is the financial report. I don't know if there's anything that anybody wants to ask about the financial report. The next item on the agenda is to vote to accept the audited financial statements as presented. And if you are interested in all the detail, the annual financial statements is on our website. Also along with the narrative report, you can find them on our website. So you're very welcome to have a look there as well. I don't know whether there are any questions for Tutor or for our finance team. Nkosi Vumile, our finance manager, is here, and he would also be able to answer any questions. But I see
Okay, I can see. Oh, no, there are not questions. Okay.
There are.
Vuyo, I see your hand. Lindiwe, I see your hand, but can I start with Vuyo?
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Vuyo Maeza from Warrenton in Northern Cape at the Shoshwane Community Art Center. I'd like to say thank you for the report for finances, and it is inspiring as organizations to actually learn from you guys and the finance team. And I would like to also vote to say that I accept the financial statements. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Lindiwe?
Thank you, Mudula Stulo, for the opportunity to contribute to the financial report. And Tate Tuto, thank you very much, Rea Leboga. I am just raising one issue. I'm not quite certain as to how many people on this call are really aware in terms of why we would have such a big salary bill. And from a business perspective, usually, when you see this big salary bill, it's a red flag. So maybe, Tuto, if you could just explain as to why we have this big salary bill and link it to the project that we have, or maybe it comes from Yvette. I don't know who's going to respond to this, but just a little bit of explanation as to why we have our salary bill this high in comparison to the amount of money that's coming in. I haven't had an opportunity to just quickly calculate in terms of the percentages, but I do know it's very high. So just a small explanation for everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Tuto,
Perhaps I can come in first and then.
okay.
So I wouldn't call the salary bill very high, to be honest. Our monthly salary bill is around 375,000. If you take that 4.5 million and you spread it across the year, you're looking at about 375,000 rand, and that is divided across, I think we've got about 25 people on the payroll at the moment. Then in addition to that, there would be some people who are on salary for shorter periods during the time because they're kind of project-related salaries. So I think that actually it's a relatively modest salary bill if I compare it to other organizations, other similar organizations. And basically all of the work has to be done by somebody. And of course, for the Social Employment Fund, it's extremely important that we have our representation in all the provinces because the provincial coordinators are the people who are doing the work on the ground. So, in the last year, we've had, I think, is it 16 provincial coordinators? Yeah, 16. So, they're the people who are ensuring that project happens. So yes, I mean, I don't know whether Tutu would like to add anything or make any comments on that, but that would be my response.
Yes,
And is
thanks.
there anything that you might want to say, Tuto?
Yes, thanks, Yvette. I think Yvette is completely right. I mean, in the work of ASSITEJ, we train, we educate with people on the ground, impacting thousands of people. I mean, if you look at 25 to 30 people.
Tuto,
yes, can you hear me?
Can I please interject because there's a correction that Lindiwe has just made, so that maybe we can speak back to. She says the correction is I meant the employee cost. I meant the employee cost. So maybe just to take a moment to respond to the employee cost.
Yes, yeah. So as I'm completing, if you look at the average cost over 25 to 30 people of, as Yvette is saying, 350,000 a month, that's around 10,000 Rand a month compared to a corporate institution where a C-level executive by themselves, one person is actually earning that. So I think in terms of understanding the impact, relatively speaking, ASSITEJ is very lean, very efficient, and people are very committed in terms of the work that they do. And it's very difficult to actually, to be sustainable in such tough economic environments. As we said, we've struggled with budget deficit, budget cuts, and actually ASSITEJ is performing very well on that front to be able to perform the work to impact thousands of people as it currently is. So just relatively speaking, that's just kind of how you need to see these things. Yeah.
Thank you very much. For me, I like the aspect of the employee cost because it's also not just salaries. I mean, there are other things that those that are working are also expected to have. And we're saying if we are working on project basis like that, it's something that we need to consider to be modest. What I have a challenge with, which I would like us to consider in the future, is when Yvette says compared to the organizations that are doing similar work, we're quite modest. I would like, and I was speaking about the kind of work that we're doing so much. So maybe we need to start seeing how we negotiate in such a way that we sort of like move was being in a similar realm. But at the moment, as we are speaking, I really would want to echo both your sentiments about the modesty of what's being offered and what we are experiencing as an organization. I see your hand, Ishmael.
Thank you, Chair, and good morning again, everyone. I agree that in comparison with the corporate sector, the salaries is quite low. Also, in comparison with other arts organizations, the individual salaries are rather low. But I think, as ASSITEJ expands and it grows and so forth, we mustn't be shy about employing people within the organization that will continue to expand the work that we do. We must be cautious that we don't put too much of work onto the shoulders of a very small group of dedicated and committed employees, but that part of growth of an organization is also growing the organogram. So your salary bill will grow as the quality of work and the impact of the work also grows. And I think in an environment where we're seeing so much of unemployment, we should be grateful that as an organization, we're able to create the amount of jobs that we have, which guarantee the employees of at least a monthly salary. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Do we have any other comments? Otherwise, I would like to actually look for a seconder, because there's already been a move for us to accept our annual finances. Is there any other issue that needs to be considered? Okay, I would like to remind us to please write our full names and surnames, and also maybe some organizations, so that this gets to be recorded for our minutes. Now, can I ask if there's anyone who will support Vuyo in terms of moving the acceptance of our annual financial statements?
Chair, I will move for adoption.
Thank you very much. Now, you know that also Tuto made a highlight around our being audited. It's actually very important that our work, it's something that has been audited. This type of financial integrity also has a very positive impact on the donations, the applications, many instances where we need to be seen on how we're making and using our money. And for that, we also get to be audited. So our auditor has been Robin Summerfield, and would like to, as the board, would like to request that we continue to have Robin Summerfield as our auditor. And for that, I'm requesting a vote for us as an organization to continue to have them as our auditor. I'm asking for a move to continue the appointment of Robin Summerfield as our auditors.
Yes, continue. That's Lindiwe.
Lindiwe Msiza is moving. Can I ask for a seconder?
Chair, I will second.
Ishmael seconds that we continue. Thank you so much. I would argue that we've had a brief discussion around our current status. And so I would like us to move to the next important aspect, and that is our board members. Who are they? You can see them there on the screen. And we have Ishmael, we have Tuto. I think Janet is an old one. And then we have Ryan, we have Lindiwe, we have Umpile, we have Mamokhatla, we have Obet, we have Yvette, and we have myself. So
Yes, we included Janet on the slide because she was secretary for the first part of this financial year that we are talking about. So
Okay.
she was the previous secretary, and then Ryan Johnson took over as the incoming secretary.
Thank you. Thank you for that clarification. So in my mind, I'm already working with the current, but I forget that sometimes when you are in the board, most of these changes happen, but because we've had a year going around, then we forget. So that is the reason why if Janet is in this board, but currently her role has been taken over by Ryan, as you'll also see in the meetings. I wonder if each one of you, please, very briefly, just say a little bit about your portfolio and the role that you play in the board. Can I start with you, Ishmael, briefly, and then I'll go to you, Tuto. Ryan is not available, and then the rest of us. Briefly, why and what you do for us.
Chair, thank you very much. Firstly, thank you very much for the opportunity to have served on the board of ASSITEJ for all the years that I have. I just realized it's 18 years. So it's now becoming an adult and stepping aside to make way for somebody else to climb into the nest. So thank you firstly for the opportunity to have served. I've been able to witness an organization that has grown enormously from its infant years to where it is today. I serve on many boards of organizations, but I'm most impressed by the way ASSITEJ works through inclusiveness, through engagement, through recognizing people's talents in different ways, and being able to give everyone the opportunity to feel cared and for loved for. Particularly important is the opportunity that it creates for young people to be able to enter the work environment with ASSITEJ under the directorship of Yvette Hardy, who certainly is a crusader for theatre for young people, a passion I don't think is comparable to anyone else in this country. And it's been enormously wonderful to see that and to experience that. My role on the board over the last 18 years has varied in the sense that I think I played a role at some point as treasurer, some point as vice chairperson, and then mainly as board member. Over the last 2 years, particularly because of illness, I've been less available as much as I would have liked to have been. But I believe that ASSITEJ is in the firm hands of a really good chair, a superb board, an excellent director, and a magnificent operational team that makes it happen. But most important is the belief and the trust that the membership puts in the organization, which allows it to continue to win the confidence of funders, of patrons and other supporters to do the work that is incredibly important to build the next generation of citizens in our country through the arts. Thank you very much, Chair. Of course, highlights for me have been to join Yvette and Lalu and Rosa Katz in Poland, where we bid for the ASSITEJ Congress, and which gave birth to the Cradle of Creativity in Cape Town as well. To have seen the ASSITEJ Hub develop in Makanda at the National Arts Festival, and then just to see so many more initiatives that have been developed by an incredibly passionate team who manage the ASSITEJ office without the board having to be involved at a micro level. So that's really fascinating and amazing. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you. Tuto?
I think Tuto may have had to leave for a family emergency, I'm afraid.
Oh, okay.
Just sent me a WhatsApp.
Oh, okay. Lindy, when?
Thank you, Mdula Stulo. My name is Lindiwe Msiza, known as Coach Lindiwe in the market. I serve on the board of ASSITEJ South Africa, bringing my expertise in human capital, transformation, and governance. In this role, I help guide the organization's people strategies, I support inclusion and transformation practices, I also strengthen governance frameworks to ensure accountability and sustainability. Working with this board has really been quite a learning experience and an empowering experience in my own leadership space. And therefore, as someone who's not an artist nor seasoned in terms of the arts, my focus in creating environments where artists, children, and young people has been awakened. I therefore thrive to ensure that there is ethical leadership, capacity building, and value-added driven decision-making in our organization. And I am very, very, very touched today to actually realize that, Ishmael, it's been 18 years that you've been serving on this board and also supporting us in everything that we do. So yeah, this is my role, and I just want to say thank you to you.
Thank you so much. Mama Khatla?
Thank you very much, Chair. Am I audible?
Yes.
Thank you very much. Good morning, and thank you again to the Board of ASSITEJ, the members, and everyone that is in the meeting. Thank you for making time out to come and join us. My name is Mama Khatla Lorraine Wagarapu, a banker by profession and activist in the community, and one that is always spoken out for those that are not able to speak for themselves. We are a body that has always assisted in fundraising and making sure that we bridge the gap between those that are in need of professional services with those that are in the provision of those. So for the board, I am currently serving under the audit committee in the fundraising as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So I am going to request you, Lindy Webb, to come back. But in this capacity, I would like to request you to give a vote of thanks for our exiting board members.
Should I start with Tuto in absentia, or would you where would you like me to start, Mudula Stulo?
No, I would like you to start.
Okay. All right. Let me start with Orbit in absentia. Orbit joined us not long ago, and we know him as our storyteller. So Orbit Mutaung, to you, our storyteller, a filmmaker, a rising star, and the youngest board member to ever serve. And you always kept us on our toes to think about the children that we are serving and in ensuring that we all serve with a youthful heart as board members. Your soft voice has a way of carrying big ideas. Your love for adventure in the arts and your bold vision for African films lift up every room. Your eagerness to learn about people, issues, or human capital, and to jump right into deep end of board governance has made this journey truly unforgettable. From people matters to membership magic, you showed up with curiosity, with courage, and creativity. We are going to miss your spark. We are going to miss your youthfulness and the way that you see the world, always through the lens of possibility. Keep shining, men. Keep creating, keep soaring, keep thriving. The world is absolutely not ready for how bright your star will get. Ntate Mutaung, re a leboha. Thank you for serving and for walking this journey with us. This one is a very emotional one for me. Braish, Ntate Ishmael, Malume Ishmael, my colleague, our leader. How do we even begin to thank someone who thinks, who acts and leads, and yes, who speaks at the speed of light? Ntate Ishmael Mahomet. Your fast-paced delivery has kept us all wonderfully alert over the years, And if nothing else, you've single-handedly proven that attentive listening, and you know, for us, we now know attentive listening is indeed a sport. Your commitment to ASSITEJ South Africa has been nothing short of extraordinary. Your love for children and your passion for the arts. You've been such a steadfast governance guide, the kind of seasoned leader who not only knows the rules, but knows why the rules matter, and have ensured the rest of us do so. You've brought wisdom, integrity, and a fierce sense of duty to every meeting, every challenge, and every opportunity that ASSITEJ has explored. I know you're a lecturer, but I know as well that deep in your heart, you're a teacher. You're patient, you are clear, you're generous, and always ready to pass on knowledge with intention and with care. Even if we play this back in a slow motion later, because you always speak fast. You have a gift for bringing people together, making them feel seen, valued, and encouraged. It's no wonder your presence lights up rooms and boardrooms and strengthens communities, whether it was while you were here in Johannesburg at the Market Theatre or even in Durban at the university. And of course, we cannot forget your legendary attention to detail. Nothing escapes you, I mean nothing. If there's a comma out of place, a policy that needs refining, or a thought we haven't fully considered, you are the first to spot it and the last to let it slide. I'm in awe of how big your memory is. There are certain instances where we're discussing issues of the policy, and you will be the first one to highlight and spotlight a clause in the policy and bring it forth for us in our deliberations. It's this precision that has helped shape ASSITEJ South Africa into strong, principled organization it is today. Ntate Ishmael, thank you for the years of dedication, the heart that you've poured into this mission, the laughters we've shared, and the high standards you've helped us uphold. We will greatly miss those. Today, we are deeply grateful. We are richer, we are wiser, we are stronger because of you. And I know we are not bidding you farewell. We are just saying, talk to you tomorrow, because we will speak to you again and again and again. As you take this time to slow down, I hope you also slow down in your speech. As you take this time to slow down, may you find joy in starting your days later, in slowing down your days, in taking little steps. Hamba kahle. Have a great, great time. You've earned the years. The wisdom highlights in your hair, the gray hair, is proof of wisdom. Siyabonga. Thank you. Thank you, Mudula Stulo. Back to you.
Oh, I'm out of words. I was trying to breathe. Thank you so much, Lindiwe. Thank you so much for sharing such profound words of gratitude to our fellow board members. So there's going to be a gap. That's what I was talking about right at the beginning. And we are in the process of filling that gap. There has been a call, there has been responses, but as we speak, that process has not been concluded because there are wonderful candidates that have applied, and also that we've been given names to consider. And so to get into a board, it's also quite a bit of a process in that we need to see and to see the integrity of the people, to have interviews with them. And this has not yet been possible. But as you know, we will keep on updating you. So on the issue of voting for new board members, I just wish to leave that gap. But each of the members here today are still continuing, and I would like to ask for voting of these new members, but also to let me just take that one as voting for these board members to continue, because the next one I would like to move for the continued mandate of this of the chairperson to continue to serve. So my invitation is twofold: voting for the continued chairperson and voting for the members, the board members, the ones that have been presented here, who will continue. But like I said, there are no new board members at the moment, but we would like to get some endorsement to continue. So do we get your mandate? I would like to request for the move for continuation of this current board and this current chairperson to continue. I don't see a hand. Can I see? Ishmael, I see your hand.
Chair, I will move for continuity. I believe that we're in incredibly good hands with yourself as the chairperson and with the board. I think the organization is also at a crucial time where we're bringing on new board members. We've entered into new spaces in terms of the work that we do, and the need for continuity is vital for the organization. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I would like to request if there's anyone who seconds the move of the current board to continue with the current chair. Buyo, can I ask for your motivation for seconding?
At the moment, I think it is my third year as a member, and in my observation of how work has been done with the leadership that is existing, I believe that the continuation, it is worthwhile, and for us to explore it, because of I have personally, and in my organization with my members as well, we haven't had any problems with the leadership except for the opportunities that have been availed for us. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So Ishmael has, for the record, has moved, and Buyo has seconded. Now, there is something that I think it also links to the transformation that we all go through in ASSITEJ, and also seeing us and the kind of work that we do, and to tell people why they are still with us alive physically, to honor them. And for that matter, ASSITEJ, even at an international level, has this a notion of offering what we call honorary lifetime membership. So I would like to invite Yvette to briefly just say a little bit about what is the honorary lifetime membership before I present to you the proposals of those that would like to offer honorary lifetime memberships. Yvette?
Thank you, Lalu. So honorary lifetime membership is something that, as Lolu says, happens at the international level within the executive committee of ASSITEJ, and also recognizes members for service. But within the context of ASSITEJ South Africa, we have the opportunity to do the same, to recognize those individuals or organizations that have contributed hugely to the growth of ASSITEJ South Africa, who've provided some kind of support or have given service over a long period. And so these people or these organizations are recognized through this honorary lifetime membership award. You can find our honorary members, our lifetime members, on our website as well. You'll see them highlighted there. But we do now have some proposals for new lifetime members that Lolu will be telling you about. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And for this memberships, would like to offer the honorary membership to Janet, to Jacqueline, and to Ishmael, precisely for the role that they have played in this organization. So I would also like to request for a move and endorsement of these three incredible individuals that would like to honor in their lifetime. I would like to ask for a hand, someone to move for.
I move, Chairperson.
Yes, I need a little bit of a motivation. Why, please?
In the 6 years that I have served on the board, I have worked with Jeanette, serving as a secretariat. She was outstanding. I think in her quietness, she made sure that our minutes were produced on time. And she made sure that every T is crossed, every I is dotted. And in her silence also kept us together. You know, Jeanette brought the human side of each one of us on the board. She's the one member of the board who will share about her family, her children, her grandchildren. We knew every milestone in Jeanette's life. And fundamentally, she and Yvette started this organization together. They saw the vision to start this organization, and we are sitting here because she was in that room when the dream was realized, when the vision started, when the mission was set together. So I think she deserves the ordinary lifetime membership. I'm not quite familiar with Jacqueline Domise, and I think Yvette can speak to Jacqueline, but I am familiar with Ishmael, and I've said a mouthful about Ishmael in my Thanksgiving. 18 years serving on a board is no child's play. And this board is very demanding. And I've seen how, even on nights and evenings when it's tough and we want quick decisions and we're struggling on certain things, when Ishmael stepped into the room and provided us with guidance and advice, he was not only just saying it, like I said, he was empowering us as well. And 18 years on this board, both of them, for the number of years that they've served, Jeanette and Ishmael, I think they deserve the ordinary lifetime membership. To also, I think for us, this might be a selfish one, but when we know they have membership, we can always count on them. We can always call them. So yes, I am motioning this one. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Yvette, can I invite you for Jacqueline briefly, please?
Yes, of course. So Jacqueline Domise has been involved with ASSITEJ as a member also from the very beginning of ASSITEJ. She, for many years, served as a very crucial partner coming from the Unimar side, the puppetry side, and together ASSITEJ and Unimar created the Out the Box, or Unimar created the Out the Box Festival, and ASSITEJ supported with the Family Festival of Out the Box. And so we had a close working relationship. And then, of course, when it came time for us to start to work towards the World Congress and the hosting of the World Congress, Jacqueline Domisa was the person who was appointed to be the director of that festival. And it was a tremendous and enormous undertaking, which she took on with huge energy. And she really managed to make the festival work. She was then the festival director for the second iteration of Cradle of Creativity, and she mentored Faye Kabali Kagwa as the curator for the third iteration of Cradle of Creativity. So she has been really such an important part of our organization over such a long period, has given selflessly many, many times to this organization, and I think deserves to be recognized with a lifetime membership. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now that we have a sense, there's already been a move from Lindiwe. Can I ask for a seconder? Empress, I need to hear your voice.
Greetings, it's Talowa Sunja, Gauteng Coordinator for the Arts for Youth SURF program. I would like to second the motion.
Because?
So I have been honored to be mentored by all three. Because I was there as a young girl in the beginning too, and I have seen the work that they have done, all three of them. And just to add about Jacqueline as well, Mama Jacqueline to me, she also did amazing work with Warhorse, which was like the first official project that I worked on with ASSITEJ. So I really second the motion. Thank you.
Thank you. I really would like to be appreciating some of these deep stories. So thank you so much. There will be communication that will be made to Janet, to Jacqueline, and to Ishmael about this gratitude, honorary lifetime membership that ASSITEJ South Africa would like to offer them. Thank you very much for your votes. Now, we have been talking about the lifeline of this organization, and actually it also is about monies. And so there are different ways through which these monies need to be sourced. And we have established a subcommittee of fundraising. The chairperson of the fundraising, Umpile Malusi, couldn't come today because he had an emergency of his son not feeling well and had to be rushed to hospital. Even though he had prepared and wanted to be here in person, he's not able to do so. But because we are in an organization that doesn't just speaks, but writes, documents, he has prepared a document that will be presented to us by a fellow committee member, Mamkhatla. Could I please invite you to just share with us about some thoughts on fundraising projects?
Thank you very much, Stino. I will just share the document. I'm not sure if Yvette has it. You can share it or just read through it.
Apologies,
Thank you, everyone.
I haven't received the document myself, so I'm not able to share it on my side, but perhaps someone in the Joburg office is able to.
All right, I'll just read through it.
Please read it, because he had thought that he was going to do it personally.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Chair. The fundraising committee report for 2025 says, given our challenges on funding, we thought of different ideas that would support our different approach of applying for grants from foundations and governments. The primary focus of discussion over the last year were mainly the development of a CSI strategy. There is someone that is unmuted that is that's piercing in my ears. Thanks. Corporate partnerships and sponsorships, the objective to build mutually beneficial partnerships with businesses to generate funding, increase visibility, and share resources. And this would have been done through research and strategy development, outreach and relationship building, formalizing partnerships, scaling and long-term engagement implement. Okay. I'm having I can hear myself. I don't know if it's my again. The implementation, challenge, capacity, everyone really questioned because I think we were trying to just go to different companies to try and ask for an ear as well, but seeing that people would have their daily jobs and other things that would come in, emergency, family, and otherwise, it became one of our challenges. We hired Rian Tikro of Liaison Consulting, and through his ideas he presented to help us with sustainability, we were attracted to the idea of a social enterprise. The objective there was to develop revenue generating activities that align with the ASSITEJ mission while creating sustainable income streams that would not also present each and every time when there is no money in the coffers. By developing a concept development and market research, business planning, and pilot testing. The resource we need for this project is a social enterprise manager or team, initial funding through grants, donations, or investments. The social enterprise isn't just about starting up. It involves getting board and team agreement on this direction. Once agreed, we needed to establish the vision, mission, common goals, and outcomes, which happened. Then we set up the business, register it, appoint directors and a board, and operationalize it. These steps are essential for putting us on a path to sustainability. The three basic hybrid principles: a non-profit entity holds a proprietary interest in a for-profit entity and therefore receives profits from the profit entity, such as dividends, when the non-profit entity holds shares in a private company. A for-profit entity is a member in a non-profit entity and often makes donations to the non-profit entity, and or including a contractual arrangement between the non-profit entity and for-profit entity exists, which allows the non-profit to receive income and from the for-profit. For instance, the non-profit entity renders services to the for-profit entity, or the non-profit entity leases assets from the for-profit entity. In both cases, the non-profit entity receives payment from the for-profit entity. It is important that agreement between such for-profit and non-profit entities are concluded at arm's length. Sorry about that. Further findings from Rian Tikro. This is a letter that was shared with Yvette. We met with a senior official at CIPRO to discuss the options of setting up a social enterprise for ASSITEJ. Currently, CIPRO does not have a business structure that caters specifically for social enterprise, and that the best option would be to register a separate PTY. He noted that limitations of PBO when exploring commercial opportunities and has therefore recommended the setup of a separate PTY. Once you agree to this course of action, then please consider the directorship and shareholding. ASSITEJ can be a shareholder, but we need to clarify this with your accountant to ensure we comply with DSG prescriptions. The agreement, the board agreed on setting up a separate PTY and the company name was suggested. The work of setting up the PTY is still in progress. Other ideas that came along, we have a Google Drive document with more ideas, which members add ideas once in a while. These ideas will be discussed further in our fundraising committee meetings, which we hope to implement in the new year. That's the
Thank
end
you.
of the report. Thank you very much, Chair.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for this wonderful report. I just want to now, on the whole, this is the story from the board. I don't know if there's any comments, anything that any of the members would like to say in terms of what the board has reported for us this time. Any comments? Any issues you might want to raise? And now we get to a very exciting part. And this is the Executive Director's report. And for this part, I would like to hand over to you, Yvette.
Thank you so much, Lalu. Thank you. Let me share my screen again. All right, is everybody seeing that? And is everybody seeing me? Great. So thank you. Thank you so much, everybody, for your attention. I know that this is quite a long meeting. We apologize for that, but you know, we do a lot in this organization, so there's always a lot to talk about. And it is my great pleasure to be able to share with you today the Executive Director's report. I won't be doing it alone. I'll be sharing the responsibility with my team, who all do incredible work. And I want to start off there and just say thank you. Thank you so much to each one of you. You are amazing. It's been, in many ways, a challenging year. You heard earlier about the funding delays, about funding, you know, not arriving on time. There's been some anxiety at times about whether or not we're going to get another grant, whether or not we're going to be able to continue to work at the size and the scale that we have been doing. And despite the anxiety, despite sometimes the feeling that things are uncertain, this team is just rock solid. And they are so committed. They are so dedicated to their work. And I am just so grateful that I get to work with each one of you. So thank you so much for everything that you do. You are amazing. And you are ASSITEJ. You make ASSITEJ tick. One of the challenges of this year has also been that we've had to say goodbye to some very important staff members during the course of this last financial year. We lost Alison Polly Green earlier in the year when she took up a fantastic position at IFAS. Of course, she's now a colleague and a partner in another context, but nevertheless, we miss her very much within the fabric of ASSITEJ on a day-to-day basis. And the other person who left us during this period was Faikabali Kagwa, who of course also has become such an important voice for theatre for young audiences, not just nationally, but in fact continentally and internationally. And the reason she left us was to pay more attention to her international curatorship. She is one of the curators of the Theater de Welt, a very prestigious German festival which celebrates international work. And she wanted to be able to travel as much as possible for that curation position and to be able to give attention to that. So we wish them both well in their new careers. We've missed them terribly since they left, but nevertheless, we are so happy to see them flying in the different things that they are doing. And we know that they will always be there to be called on and to be partners in different ways in the future. More recently, in the last period, we've also had one of our provincial coordinators leave us. Masitlole Heshu has got a position with the Department of Cultural Affairs and Sports in the Western Cape, and we wish him well for that new position. And it's wonderful to see that the people that we work with, both within our own team and of course within the broader team of the people who are employed through our Arts for Youth program, powered by the Social Employment Fund, are getting these kinds of opportunities and are moving on to better pay, to hopefully less stress, and to new vistas and new challenges. So thank you to everybody who has contributed so much to ASSITEJ. I'm going to hand over to Hayley for a moment to just speak about the staff who we have brought on in this period. We also have a number of interns that we're working with, and Hayley's going to talk a little bit about them and about some of the staff training opportunities that we've had over the past year. So Hayley, can I invite you to share now?
Can I be seen? Hi, my name is Hayley. I'm the operations manager at ASSITEJ South Africa. I'm not sure if I can be seen or not, but I'm sure I can be heard. So I thought I'd maybe just start by...
Yes. Okay.
Hello?
Yeah, I can hear you. I can hear you.
Okay, great. Can I carry on? Okay. I think it's really important that we just maybe just introduce our staff as a whole. We have, as Yvette said, a fantastic team. So I thought maybe I'll just go through department and then introduce new staff. So within, ASSITEJ staff are located in all 9 provinces, working in various positions and departments. In our Cape Town branch, we've obviously got Yvette Hardy, who is the director of ASSITEJ South Africa. Hi, hear me? There's a lot of distortion. Okay. We've got our finance team based in Cape Town. We've got Nkosi Luso, who is our finance manager, and under him we've got Temba Ngaleka, as well as Ezra Walters. In the marketing department, we've got Cornele Finch. He is our social media officer, supported by Bonga, who does all our fantastic graphic design work. Everything that he's done everything on the AGM report today. He's always extremely busy. We've got, in our education team, we've got Tembile Chuma, as well as Chulafelo Shunyani. Within our, I've mentioned marketing, education. Then we've got our national coordinator, who's Ryan Dittman. He heads up the Arts for Youth program under the Social Employment Fund. We've got various coordinators working under him. We've got Sianda Butelezi, who is also Ryan's administrator and has transitioned into a full-time provincial coordinator in Gauteng. Sticking with Gauteng, we've got Cornele Finch, who also doubles up as a provincial coordinator under the Social Employment Fund, and Toloa Suncha. Moving to the Free State, we've got Stykes, Mokajani, and Angelo Moki. Limpopo, Kitobete Klokane, and Bonani Ratsana. In the Northern Cape, we've got Letlogonolo Niche. In the Eastern Cape, we've had a transition from Masitlole Heshu, who's moved on, and replacing him, we've got Boitamelo Mamba, who's who's really stepped into the role and has hit the ground running, and we're super impressed with the way she's come on board on the project. In the Northwest Province, we've got Tapelo Pule. In our Western Cape offices, we've got Warwick Frank, Tiffany Witboy, and Tando McCoy. I don't think and then in Mpumalanga, we've got Nomahlubi Nkosi. And KZN, I can't forget KZN, we've got Pauline Hanson. Through this year, we've also seen, during the reporting year, we've gone from cohort 7 of the First Rand First Jobs opportunity, First Rand First Jobs internship program, to our cohort 8. So Catherine Kosa, Sandiswa Mandonda, Lungile Ndlovu, and Moisha Muller were interns in cohort 7. They all successfully completed their internship and completed their courses and have now found, most of them have found employment. There has been a shift in this year with First Rand. We've got the First Rand First Job cohort 8, who has brought on, and through this we've brought on Caitlin Peary, who is our monitoring and evaluation intern, Sitle Devoza, who's our admin assistant, and Roscoe Lewis, who is assisting our finance team within the Cape Town branch. Also to say that with First Rand, we've been fortunate enough to have applied and were successful in our application of our bank CETA internship graduates program. And through this, we've managed to onboard Malusi Ngobesa, who assists the finance team in the Johannesburg branch. And through the bank CETA position, we've managed to retain Lungile Ndlovu in her communications role and supports our marketing and comms team. And we're very happy to have them on board this year, and we wish them all the best. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Haley. And thank you for introducing everybody. I realize I stopped sharing my screen, and I actually didn't mean to do that. I just meant to move on. So let me do that. Here we go. So to talk about this year in terms of our outcomes, we were able to reach over 396,175 direct beneficiaries. So that includes 384,000 odd children and youth, and 11,620 adults. These are children and youth who've been reached, many of them on a monthly basis. In other words, they are coming back again and again for after-school drama classes, or they are being reached through their ECD or through in-school work through one of our Arts for Youth programs or one of our other programs. And then the adults are those who've been directly involved in, for example, running one of the many events that have happened through the case of the Social Employment Fund, which we'll be hearing more about in this report. You can see also here our staff complement, our 25 full-time employees, and then through the Social Employment Fund, we've had employed during this time on contract 2,417 part-time employees. So in other words, that's the number of people who have, some of them didn't stay the whole time, some of them moved on to another opportunity, and then they were replaced by another person, which is why that number is higher than the 1,600 odd that are in fact allowed to be employed within the grant at any time. In addition, you heard about our interns. And then what that also means is that 319 teachers were trained in creative arts around the country. 1,962 artists received training through the CEF, And that amounted to 126 days of SEF training. Now, that's quite an extraordinary amount if you think about it. It means that 1 in every 3 days pretty much of the year, there is a day of training happening for artists somewhere in the country, which is really amazing. We've also managed to support 354 schools around the country, 196 ECDs. We've had 3,265 special needs participants in our various activities, and then over 2,000 books being distributed to children and young people. So really, this is, I think, a very substantial contribution to the lives, needs, and well-being of children and young people around the country. And then in terms of the more artistic side of the work, we've been able to support 51 productions, either in touring them or in hosting them as part of our National Arts Festival platform, or in terms of supporting them at other platforms that have sprung up. And so it's really wonderful to see that there is so much work for young audiences that is being made around the country, and that the quality of it is really good, and that we are able to support this work in different ways and forms. We've also had 6 international South African collaborations. You'll hear about those in more detail as we get into the report. But as you know, because ASSITEJ is part of ASSITEJ International and therefore is very connected to the international community, we are able to do some really exciting things with international artists and ourselves, or with artists from South Africa. This also really adds a richness to what the organization is able to do. Another aspect that I would like to draw attention to is that we spent a lot of time in the last year working on ensuring our compliance, and making sure that our compliance is of an exceptional standard. We were recently awarded an Izinga 5-star compliance certificate, which is essentially a guarantee of compliance across different dimensions like governance, finance, programmatic, monitoring and evaluation, impact, etc. And what this allows us to do is to be able to convince, hopefully, funders that our organization is worthwhile funding, and that if they fund our organization, the funds will always be used for what they were intended for. Izinga Assist is a new organization that has strong links within the UK and the US, and is hoping to be able to attract international funding for organizations in the Global South. And I would really encourage our members to go through this process as well. If you are an NGO, then you would be able to apply to Izinga Assist and go through the process of becoming more compliant, of delivering on all of the various aspects that they ask for, and then getting your certification. I think it's going to be a really helpful element of what we're able to offer. So as you know, ASSITEJ always operates under our 4 pillars, and you're seeing them there at the bottom of the screen on every slide. So I want to just remind you of what our 4 pillars are before we jump into the first one of create access, which is obviously create access. So create access to the arts for the children and the young people, then support and develop the artists. So all of that training, for example, is very much on that pillar. Empowering education, arts education is a central pillar of ASSITEJ, and we've been very involved, as you know, in the national curriculum, etc., and we'll talk about that more later. And then connecting and advocating for every child's right to be able to experience the arts. So those are our pillars, and our projects sometimes umbrella several different pillars, and sometimes they are focused in one pillar. So I'm going to now invite some of our staff members to assist with this as we talk about some of the different projects. But I'm going to kick off with our Social Employment Fund, because it is such a very important part of our organization. It has become the part of what we do Arts for Youth, which allows us to reach the kinds of numbers that you are seeing there. If you do a little bit of research and you go back over the last, let's say, 5 years, you'll see that we have done some impressive things in that time. But you'll also see that with the last 3 years, where we've had the Social Employment Fund contributing to our organization, we've been able to really expand our reach in ways that wasn't possible before. And it's allowed us to really make that national footprint feel very solid. So whereas before we might have had, one small project in a province and we were calling ourselves national, now I feel like we can truly call ourselves national because we have provincial coordinators in every corner of the country, we have artists in every corner of the country, and we have activity in every corner of the country. So it really is quite extraordinary. And you've already heard some of the figures, but I also want to just add one more, which is that, within the Social Employment Fund, we have, in the last CEF, we have had 188 organizations that we have been partnering with who are our members. And it is within these organizations that the artists who are employed in Arts for Youth are deployed to be able to run the projects of the organization, to be able to do in-school work or after-school work or work in ECDs or community centers. And we really want to thank those partners as well. We are nothing without our membership. An ASSITEJ National Center only exists because it has members. And so we are so grateful to each and every one of you who is working in such diverse contexts across the country, deep rural, peri-urban, township, inner city, you name it, you are there and you are working to make the lives of children better in really meaningful ways. So thank you so much for that work. I also want to say that through the various events that have taken place as part of the Social Employment Fund, and there have been a great deal of those, 268,000 people have experienced live performances. We don't know that number aggregated down to how many children and how many adults, but 268,000 people experiencing performances is huge. And that includes 3,265 people with disabilities. So we are really taking our mission to be more inclusive as an organization to ensure that anybody, regardless of ability, disability, or anything else, is able to be included. We're taking that very, very seriously. And it's been such a pleasure to see the work and the impact on that scale. I had the great joy of being in Limpopo recently, where Ketemetsi, who I hope is here in this call, one of our Limpopo coordinators, took us to a school where we were able to see the work that was happening through the organizations that were on the ground for that school. And I can't tell you how glowingly the principal and staff spoke about the ASSITEJ team and the organizations that they were working with. They'd made such a difference to the school and to the well-being of the children. And we went into a prize giving where the children were performing and where the artists were performing, and the artists had also been training the teachers to perform. And there was just such joy in that space. And it really reminded me of what can happen when the arts are brought into every situation. So thank you to everybody who is playing a role in creating access for children and young people. So I want to now invite Tembile to talk a little bit about one of our very special campaigns that we run every year as part of ASSITEJ International, which is Take a Child to the Theatre. Tembile, are you able to?
I am here.
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
Yes, beautiful.
Yes. So I'm just going to talk about Take a Child to the Theatre, which is one of the ASSITEJ International's campaign. It normally happens around the 20th of March, which is the day when we celebrate the World Day for Theatre for Children and Young People. So yeah, this year has been like many years previously, where we have quite a buzz of activities happening around South Africa. And for those who don't know, this is really a movement where you know, theater organizations actually sometimes really donate their productions to tour into schools, most of them for free, or sometimes theater companies or theaters donate tickets, or individuals donate tickets. So throughout the year, there has been people who have been donating in cash and in kind, so that young people and children can be able to access, you know, performances. So well, just going back to March, there has been quite a number of activities that have been happening. The ones that I really attested to were some of the performances by, I would say, Sarafina. I remember taking kids from Phoenix. It was a drama group of 30 kids, and about 3/4 of the kids, it was their first time to actually be at the Joburg Theatre. And it was amazing. And yeah, it was such a good sight, because Phoenix is literally in Braamfontein, and Joburg Theatre is in Braamfontein. And some of the kids were like, this was our first time to be in this theater. We've just been passing, you know, going home or going to school. So some of the productions also that have donated some tickets was Dear Evan Hansen, which also played in Cape Town and in Joburg. And in both occasions, they donated about 75 tickets, which was 150 altogether. And we have quite a number of events that have been happening in the Free State with, which organization is that, by the way? Kankani Production. And also, in total, the number of kids that we registered in only that month of March was about 784 children and young people. And we really thank all the organizations that were actually taking productions to the theaters, donating tickets for kids who can be able to pay, and also creating some events where kids can be able to engage with a theater production, or themselves make some form of theater productions. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Timbile. And now I'm going to call on Julia to talk a little bit about Girl Power, which is also a project in which we've been able to reach out to children.
Okay, thank you, Vet. Hi, everyone. So we've been working on the Girl Power project in collaboration with the Nelson Mandela Children's Fund. And so we partnered with them at the beginning of last year. I think it was January 2004. To address, and so our goal was to address, sorry, I'm trying to read and look at the camera at the same time. So if I'm not looking at you, please know that I'm reading. So our goal was to address GBV through an experiential arts-based approach and using theatre as a powerful tool to reach children and to teach them about this very, very sensitive subject matter. And so the project included professional productions that were contextualized for communities, child-led productions that are created with learners and by learners, and workshops enabling reflection, dialogue, and deep learning. We have been doing this in year 1 and year 2 in 5 provinces, which are KwaZulu-Natal, Free State, Eastern Cape, Western Cape, and Limpopo. Up to so far, we've trained over 150 artists and 30 after-school organizations. Now, in the second year, we've done a little bit more than that. We have hosted workshops for communities, for teachers, for the artists that are going to work hand in hand with the children. We have also hosted workshops for children, so deeper workshops for the children after they watch the professional production and so forth, workshops for them to be able to understand what what this broad concept is really about. That, you know, gender-based violence isn't just domestic violence, or it isn't just physical violence. That it's such a nuanced occurrence that we kind of need to go a little bit deeper with learners. And so learners create their own productions from there on, just to see what they have learned throughout this process. And so our monitoring and evaluation has been a mixed method approach of surveys, interviews, questionnaires, and so forth. Lots of the surveys were taken before the production. So we wanted to know, what do children and our other participants and our other adult participants, what do they know about gender-based violence before coming into working with us and doing all of this work with us? And at the end, what is it they know from what we have offered, and where are the gaps, and what do we still need to do to be able to assess the impact, to shift our attitudes, and to find areas for improvement. In year 2, we had a few different outcomes from year 1. So our year 2 outcomes were, reducing the level of violence and increasing reporting. As we know, or maybe some of us don't know, that though we know that there are many incidents of violence happening, we're not always sure how well they are reported, or we're not always sure how well they are dealt with after they've been reported. And so in our organizations and in these 5 provinces, we have tried to work with community policing forums, child protection forums, and other stakeholders in the community that can be supportive to schools, that can be supportive to the children in which they come into contact with, so that the schools are not working as a silo, but try to create communities of practice, that it's not just the principals and the teachers dealing with what is happening in the schools or what is happening in the homes, but that the whole community can get involved and see how they can help and be supportive. Other outcomes that we have added to this were the empowering of men, boys, and young girls, and women, or the financial empowerment of women. As we know, gender-based violence isn't just experienced by women. Small children experience it, sometimes men experience it, and we wanted to bring men into this conversation and young boys more into this conversation, not just as perpetrators or as people that we need to be afraid of, but rather as allies, as protectors, and as people who can stand with us in the fight against gender-based violence. And then the economic empowerment of girls, we've been able to add to our in-person workshops some financial empowerment workshops that are targeted at females. These workshops are geared at personal and professional development of women artists. As our socio-economic standing quite impacts how we move in the world, it impacts our independence, it impacts our agency as women. And so we at ASSITEJ have tried to kind of include that element, to empower those who work with us and who hold hands with us. And in this year, we've also been able to have a partnership with the South African chapter of International Association of Women Judges, where they have written a beautiful play. And in this project, you know, this play is so beautiful in how it helps children on a journey towards healing, and showing them the different stages that they may go through were they to be in a situation where they are violated or have some kind of sexual assault happen to them. And so this play has been seen in the Free State, has been seen in Makanda, has been seen in KZN. I think Pauline will talk a little bit more about that. And will now also be going to Limpopo in a month or so. In the Western Cape, they have a bit of a different offering, because they are mainly dealing with high schools. So they will be watching a film called The Passage, very short film, international award-winning film, around peer pressure and what happens to boys in this kind of situation. What is their role in gender-based violence, or how they are affected by peer pressure or bullying or those kinds of things. And so we're still working in the project now in year 2, still trying to follow the model of last year while adding new elements. And I will say that this has been quite a touching project. You know, sometimes we think we go into schools, we'll go and do our play and then we will leave. It is not always so simple. Or we'll do our workshop and we leave. It's not always so simple. We find, especially now in the past few months, we find that children actually come to us with their real life stories. They come to us with what is really, really happening. And it kind of brings us back to the reality of the moment, or to the reality of what's happening in our country, that what we're doing is not just projects. We are dealing with real people's lives and real people's day-to-day situations, and finding how impactful this work is very rewarding. And yeah, I'm so grateful to be part of this work, and I hope that as we continue as ASSITEJ, that these kinds of themes can be explored a bit more. That the arts are not just here for educational purposes, but we serve quite a therapeutic role as well. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Chulu. So I'm going to hand on to Pauline to talk a little bit more about the play that you mentioned, Nompilo, which, as Lalu spoke in her report at the beginning, she and Umpile were responsible for writing. Pauline, are you ready to share a bit more about the Nompilo experience?
Yeah, I'll speak on our experience in KZN. Firstly, it was an absolute privilege and an honor to be trusted to oversee Nompilo in KZN. What a beautifully written script. And the actors really did justice to bring it to life. It was also a pleasure to have Lalu in KZN to watch a performance and to interact with the cast and director. Thank you, Lalu. You know, one can never be the same again and just get on with your life after being so closely involved with something like Nompilo. Thank you to our head office team for the unwavering support that was needed on this project. You know, it takes intense strain to suppress the gangster within and remain cool, calm, and collected, and follow through with the various criteria to implement government's NSP 6 pillars. For those of you who don't know what the NSP 6 pillars are, you know, pillar 1 is on accountability, coordination, and leadership. Pillar 2 is on prevention and rebuilding social cohesion. Pillar 3 is justice, safety, and protection. Pillar 4 is the response, care, support, and healing. Pillar 5 is economic empowerment. And Pillar 6 is the research and information management. GBV has always been a crisis, and it's a relief that government is now coming to the party to assist to end this pandemic. The work we do is dependent on relationships, and relationships are very important. In KZN, we achieve success because of our relationships, not only amongst ourselves as Team KZN Nompilo, but also with the schools we interacted with. You know, a funny example is our cast driver, and, you know, Lalu got to witness this as well. Our cast driver, he did not just pick us up and drop us off at our locations and sit in his vehicle till we're done. Without being requested to, he would roll up his sleeves, unpack the vehicle, and assist with setup and striking. And he would also sit in on the performances, because he mentioned that this is something where us men need to get involved. He said, Mama, I have sisters as well, and I have nieces also, and we really need to get involved. And it's just so heartwarming to listen to the stories that are coming out of the schools and watch the reaction from these little children. And you see, all this happened now because of the relationship that we had built. The relationships matter, they bring us together. Just in the past week, I had an in-person catch-up with an educator from a primary school that had a GBV incident. And this incident was a few hours before we presented Nompilo. 2 grade 5 learners were sadly sexually violated by Mkulu. One of the learners had broken spectacles.
When I got back home, it was difficult to process everything that had happened. And then we knew that something had to be done. Our grade 5 learner received spectacle fittings, which was made possible through the relationship that we had formed with another KZN sub-partner. So you see, relationships are important. It's not just a job when you get a project. So thank you, Team Nompilo. Thank you, Team ASSITEJ. May the relationships we have continue growing. And yes, to changing the world one child at a time. Hansi GBV, Hansi.
Beautiful, Pauline. You are quite an inspiration, and thank you for everything that you've done to make that project happen, and to Boitumelo, who's also been doing such sterling work in the Eastern Cape. Thank you, both of you. I want to invite Warwick Frank now to speak about the Home Ikaya TOIS project. Warwick, are you there?
Yes. Thank you, Yvette. Good afternoon, everyone. I think we're in the afternoon phase now. Thank you so much. My name is Warwick Frank. I am the Western Cape Arts for Youth coordinator and primarily working on the CEF program, but I also handle and project manage for other projects that we have in the Western Cape. Before I go on, I'd like to give you a bit of a background for the Home Ikaya TOIS project, which is powered by the City of Cape Town through their grants and aid funding. So affordable housing and social vulnerability are pressing issues in the community of Vryheid. Vryheid is, or otherwise known as Capricorn, falls under Muizenberg East in Cape Town. And the project focused around the informal settlement of Kakabantu, which has expanded rapidly since 2020 on environmentally sensitive land. The lack of accurate census data and historic under-engagement has resulted in insufficient services provided to the residents of this informal settlement, which further impacted the growing challenges for children and young people, many of whom are currently undocumented and unable to access schooling. So the Home Ikaya TOIS project responds to these challenges by using socially engaged arts to amplify children's voices in and around conversation about home, safety, and affordable housing. It also supports the newly built Vryheid Community Safe House and strengthens the community's awareness of its purpose. So, how did all of this happen? Well, the project uses art strands such as storytelling, drama, visual arts, puppetry, and public art to explore ideas of home, identity, family, and safety, to create intergenerational dialogue in which children speak back and share their perspective around what home means to them, to adults, teachers, community members, and other involved stakeholders as well. We also aimed to collect and preserve community stories, build confidence and pride, connection and cultural identity within Vryheid as well. So how we went about this was we were able to train and upskill 8 community arts facilitators across the various art strands that we are working within. These facilitators would go on to carry out 80 workshops, which commenced in August, and a 6-day holiday program in October, which saw 60 children from the community and the informal settlement being empowered to express their ideas of home using creative methods. We were able to host 2 out of the 5 proposed intergenerational sharing days, which initiated dialogue around the exploration of the theme home between children, senior citizens, community leaders, and the general public as well. Some of our outputs included drama performances with some puppetry, story writing, storytelling in the form of a published output, and public art exhibition of artwork by children around the theme of home and what that meant to them. So to date, we have had 1 out of the 3 to 5 proposed performances already in Vryheid, and we plan to host more performances in areas such as Khayelitsha and Tafelsig in Mitchells Plain. That's scheduled for later this month. And then on the 1st of November, we also were able to host an exhibit a temporary public art installation representing home at the Vryheid Community Safe House. And currently, we are working on our final output, which is a book of reflections of about 5 to 10 children's stories, which include poetry and artwork, all developed into an illustrated coffee table book. So the project is also designed to be sustainable. It is rooted in the Fragrant Community Center, which served as the creative hub for the project and connects existing community partners and structures. The Safe House will remain active beyond this project, of course, and the trained facilitators will be equipped to continue leading after-school programs in Fragrant to the children from the underserved settlement of Kakabantu. Lastly, I would like to add, I feel it is important to add, that this entire project was child-led, and the community arts facilitators served as mentors guiding the process and documenting children's perspectives and expressions. Furthermore, it has been a tough journey due to the fact that we had to contend with ongoing gun and gang violence in the area, but we persevered and managed to meet our goals, stay on track due to ASSITEJ's commitment to the children that we work with. Lastly and finally, we can't wait to share our coffee table book of reflections with the community of Fragrant and possibly to the rest of our associates, partners, and network. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Warwick. Yeah, it's a really fantastic project, and thank you for all your leadership there. So we're moving on now to support and develop artists, and I'm going to invite Taloa to speak a little bit to some of the SEF training and mentorship of artists that has been happening. Taloa, are you able to unmute yourself?
Yes. Okay. So in the MOU of the Arts for Youth SEF program, it states that we as ASSITEJ are responsible for a minimum of 6 hours per phase of the SEF program. So we train for a minimum of 6 hours in terms of the artists that are part of the program. So I just wanted to start by stating that. But we have been able to train much more because of relationships, as my colleague Pauline mentioned earlier, that relationships are very key in the work that we do. I would like to just speak about some of the beautiful outcomes that have come out of supporting and developing our artists. We have some of our partners winning international competitions. We have some of our partners having international partnerships. Some of our partners have been able to receive other funding apart from the Arts for Youth SEF program that supports them, which is actually not a funding program, but it does support the artists in terms of ensuring that they have a stipend, they are trained, and then the programs are also packaged and they are sustainable projects. We also have some of the partners now, they have their own spaces from not having space. Some of them were not compliant and now they are compliant. Some even have PPOs now, and yeah, etc. There is a lot. So due to time, I will just leave it there for now. And in terms of, again, supporting and developing artists, we also support and develop the children and youth artists, but we also support and develop the communities. So this is skills development where sometimes they get training on maybe drama, the different approaches to maybe visual arts. They get training on things like Kickstarter, which is one of ASSITEJ's signature programs that is CAPS aligned, and it's implemented inside the classroom. So there's a lot of training also that happens around like financial literacy, compliance, governance, we do training on strategy, proposal writing, and there's also training on self-care for the facilitators because as you've heard, there's a lot of issues in the ground, and when our facilitators are unable to take care of themselves, they can't take care of the children and the youth that they work with. And there's also been training around child safety. As our chair mentioned earlier, in her chairman's report, that we should be like eagles. You know, she used that metaphor that we need to be learning all the time to know how we can improve ourselves so that we can better serve the children and the youth and the communities that we work in. And I am also happy that our chair started with that because as I said earlier, we don't only support and develop the professional artists, but also the children in the schools. And as our director Yvette mentioned, some of these pillars do sort of like overlap with each other. So support and develop artists is one of those that also overlaps to arts education, you know, because one of the ways that we do develop is through education. And I will close this part by quoting the children from the recent Children 20 at the Social Summit, that there can be nothing for them without them. So thank you, ASSITEJ, for the opportunity to serve.
Thank you so much, Taloa. So we're going to go on to some of our other projects for artists, and whoops, wrong slide. And one of these is a playwriting project which happened over this financial year called Pushing Boundaries for Young Minds. We were able to, with the support of the government of Flanders, Kunstenpunt, which is the Flemish Arts Institute, and the Flemish Department of Culture, Youth and Media, invite Fikri Alazuzi, who is a leading and very unique voice in Flanders, a Flemish Moroccan playwright, to South Africa. He came to the Vrystaat Kunstefees, where he held some meetings with artists and saw a lot of work and engaged with artists there. And then he went into a workshop with 10 writers who were writing specifically for 11 to 14-year-olds, which was an age group we felt was rather neglected. We have a lot of work for teenagers, for older teenagers, and we have a work for younger children, but very often that in-between stage is not taken care of. And the idea was for them to write plays that would really push the boundaries, as the title of the project said. The winning play that came out of the workshop was Sasike Sababa, We Once Flew by Tazama Busakwe, which explored themes of identity, grief, and gender identity from the perspective of children and young people. And this play was given a commission for a play reading that took place at Texmark in October of last year at the University of Johannesburg, and was then a runner-up in the Heineken Playwriting Award. And while it didn't win the award, it had wonderful feedback from the award and from all those who experienced the play reading. And we believe that it's a beautiful text that deserves to be seen. And we are very much looking forward to putting that play onto the stage in the future. Two plays that we were able to put onto the stage, or assist to put onto the stage in this period, have been The King of Broken Things and Pieces of Me. This is a service that we provide for our members. They can approach us if they would like assistance with touring their productions, and obviously particularly if their productions have a focus on audiences of young people and children. King of Broken Things got the opportunity to perform in London at Riverside Studios, but they needed a producer to support them in that endeavor. And we took on that role and organized an international tour, which took place in December of 2024. And the play was extremely well received. It got some excellent high-starring reviews. and some wonderful responses from audiences there. Pieces of Me has been on 2 tours now, and it's been to some of the major theatres in South Africa, being the Market Theatre, the Baxter Theatre. It's been at the Fine Arts Festival, the Kakan Ka, Woordfees, Hilton Arts Festival, the National Arts Festival, and we are going to be bringing it back next year to do another run for schools at the Homecoming Centre in Cape Town, and then to do a small tour of small towns in the Western Cape, which would attract audiences similar to the communities that are being spoken about in the play. The play, we also managed to tour internationally. In this last year, we took it to the Reykjavik Fringe Festival in Iceland. So it had an outing there, and we are continuing to support it in other ways. So that is something that if you do have a production that you would like to tour, but you are uncertain of how to do it, it is a service that ASSITEJ offers our members, and we would encourage you to be in touch. So I'm now going to pass on to Kwanele. Is Kwanele there to speak about the National Arts Festival?
Okay, great. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you perfectly.
Thank you. So I'm going to just speak about the ASSITEJ South Africa Family and Youth Program, which happened at this year's National Arts Festival. The program started, or actually we started on the 26th of June to the 6th of July, and ASSITEJ South Africa hosted one of the most vibrant and inclusive platforms at the festival. We had created a space which was dedicated entirely to children, teens, young adults, and families. Our home base was the Glennie Hall at the Victoria Primary School, which became a warm and welcoming hub for parents, educators, and young people. From there, the program expanded across several festival venues, including the Victoria Girls High School and the Monument, which created a connected network of spaces where young audiences could explore, imagine, and engage. We had featured over 20 high-quality productions, carefully created to speak to every or most stages of a young person's development, from toddlers discovering theatre for the first time to teenagers engaging with bold and contemporary storytelling. The program also showcased an impressive range of genres, which was puppetry, storytelling, dance, physical theatre, inclusive theatre, multimedia work, and thought-provoking teen productions that addressed real social issues like mental health. Beyond the performances, ASSITEJ also played a crucial role behind the scenes. We had supported 19 productions with everything from logistics to marketing to artist guidance to festival navigation. The artists were also they were also benefited from workshops, masterclasses that we had hosted in National Arts Festival in Makanda. The impact was definitely very undeniable. We had several of the shows receiving Ovation Awards, celebrating artistic excellence. And I think lastly, just to conclude, we had also seen from the audience a lot of positive feedback. The families, and especially moms and dads, which is very impressive from the marketing side, expressed deep appreciation for having a space that felt accessible, joyful, and safe. Young people found the stories that reflected their own worlds and sparked their imagination. And despite, the recent economic pressures, with the National Arts Festival, which slightly affected audience attendance, the Family and Youth Fair maintained a very strong and lively presence. And in closing, we really want to continue doing this work and to champion the very important truth that young people deserve a powerful and meaningful, imaginative, artistic experiences, not as an afterthought, but as a priority. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Cornelia, for that presentation. That's fantastic. I'm now going to ask Lungile to talk a little bit about the directors in TYA, a national exchange, an international exchange, pardon me. Lungile, are you able to take the mic?
Yvette, are you able to talk on her behalf?
Sure, okay. Just at the bottom of the slide that you should be seeing at the moment, is everybody seeing the support artist screen? You'll see the face of Neka da Costa. So Neka da Costa was the South African artist who was selected for the International Directors Exchange this year. We have had a South African artist selected for a number of years now. This is an exchange that happens every 2 years. Excuse me. And Neka was lucky enough to be selected for this one. Basically, what it involves is that the artists gather in a city in Germany. It changes each time. And a festival hosts them. In this case, it was the Fundus Festival in Germany. And they share perspectives on making work for young audiences. One of the things that came out of this exchange was a real focus on what children need and want from theatre. And Neka was very inspired by the exchange, and we are hoping, not hoping, she has offered, she will be offering some workshops for artists here to explore some of the themes that she got to explore with her international colleagues within the South African context. So we're really looking forward to Neka being able to do that for us. And just to say that in previous years, some of our international participants in this director's seminar have been Polani Mdlulu, Lebogang Ino, Jane Batsoffen, Sibusiso Kambule, Mwabisa Plaiki, and Iwande Dube, amongst others. And then finally, for support artists, we also had an international exchange with the Netherlands, and this is an ongoing project. It's an exchange with Distilte Dance Company, which is based in Breda and runs a dance festival in the Netherlands. And Letlhonolo Nche and Christelle Dreyer, two choreographers from South Africa, were invited to choreograph for the company to create duets for children. And I've just been in Brussels, where I was able to meet with the company artistic director, and we are hoping to be able to bring them back to Cradle of Creativity next year, and to ensure that the duets that Letlhonolo and Christelle choreographed in the Netherlands will be choreographed again, or not, will be produced with South African performers, so that we are able to tour those into schools in South Africa around the time of the Cradle of Creativity. We're also looking forward to Distilte being with us with their production as part of next year's festival offering. So we're moving now on to Empower Education. You've heard about how central arts education is to ASSITEJ South Africa. It's been very much something that we've been involved in since our very beginning. And one of the great achievements of this year was to have finally the textbooks, which are the official national DBE textbooks for life skills, published. ASSITEJ South Africa contributed the creative arts sections to those life skills books. They are available on the DBE website. And it's wonderful to have the methodologies that we have been using and teaching under the banner of Kickstarter. You heard Taloa mention Kickstarter for many years now, used in these textbooks. So really, it's a case of our methodology is becoming the accepted way of providing creative arts within the school curriculum. We also were able to make some more progress around our Arts Rich Schools program, where we have done some research around some of the schools And we've identified the areas in which they are most arts rich and the areas in which they need still to get some support. And this is an ongoing project to continue to identify what schools are being able to use the arts in a really meaningful way and where schools are being challenged. And then to think about how ASSITEJ can support the schools in their challenges to become stronger, as we believe that it's only with the arts that you can offer a truly quality education. The arts needs to be a part of education, particularly at primary and secondary level. So the art school program, sorry, we was just mute somebody there. The Arts Rich Schools program, we are still hoping to receive some funding for. It's currently an unfunded project, but it's something which we're doing anyway because we have so many schools that we are interacting with, and we are looking for funding for this project. We also completed our Unlocking Learner Creativity program, which was a program which put artists into schools across 3 regions of the Western Cape. We've been doing that for about 4 or 5 years, and unfortunately the project finally came to an end this year at the end of the first quarter. It was a very successful program, serving the West Coast, the Winelands, and the Central Karoo areas. And we had a wonderful cohort of artist facilitators who were trained in that methodology and the Kickstarter methodology, and we're working with the schools in those areas. Many of them have continued to work with the schools despite the project having come to an end. In some cases, creating after-school programs or still being invited back by the schools because the schools have appreciated their input to such an extent. Piggybacking on Unlocking Learner Creativity is a project called Yippie, which is a project around well-being and about how the arts can bring about well-being in schools. And it involves teachers, parents, and children. And I'm going to invite Warwick back for a moment just to talk briefly about the Yippie project.
Thank you again, Yvette. So Yippie is the youth co-production for sustainable engagement and empowerment in health. It is a global school-based intervention aimed at improving adolescent mental health and well-being. The project targets students aged 12 to 14 in 4 cities currently, and those being Chennai, India, Nairobi, Kenya, Cape Town, South Africa, and Stockholm, Sweden. It uses a whole school approach, meaning it works not just with students, but also with teachers, parents, and the broader schooling environment. The core intervention values are gratitude, kindness, and hope. And the program is co-designed with youth, where young people serve as the designers, the implementers, the researchers, and the advocates for the entire program. Yippie represents a shift in how mental health is addressed. And instead of the conventional therapy, it builds systems in school that leverage young people as active agents and promotes the strengths and their values, which are gratitude, kindness, and hope, all with the focus on improving adolescent mental health as early as possible. So ASSITEJ has worked with 3 schools here in the Western Cape, in Cape Town specifically. We worked with Symphony Primary, Klapmuts Primary, and Kaimandi Primary that participated in teacher and learner workshops, focus sessions, and the culmination of the Together Action Board, which is made up of a school-based committee of students, teachers, and parents, with the aim of leading and coordinating well-being efforts within the school. And the TAB members contribute to shaping school-level policies and practices around mental health, around gratitude, kindness, and hope. So we're hoping to wrap up our final workshop, focus sessions, and TAB sessions before the end of the year, but we are still linked to the schools should they require further support and guidance on these strategies. Thank you.
Thank you, Warwick. And this project is also in partnership with the University of Stellenbosch, who are doing the research on the project. It is a pilot program, and we hope that if it is successful, that more funding will be found and we'll be able to roll it out to more schools. We're then going to pass on to Lesedi, and I'm going to ask Tembile to come back to talk about that. So this is a project in collaboration with the DG Murray Trust, and it is in the Northern Cape. And Tembile, are you ready to speak on it?
Yes, I'm here, Yvette.
Go ahead.
So much. So the Lesedi Kickstarter Education Teachers Program is really about capacitating teachers and artists in, it's more of what we've been doing in the previous years. We've heard about the Kickstarter, but also the additional element to this program is all about really working with learners in the after-school programs. So, you know, it aims to equip educators, employ and train emerging artists, inspire learners and nurture a passion for the arts, encouraging self-expression, empathy and creativity and social cohesion. So also this program started, it was in its second year, and the second year actually started a little bit late, but because we have a fantastic Pedro Sanchez, the music man, he had to go there and really engage with the teachers late last year so that the teachers, you know, were on board for this program. But over the past year, we've had about 4 workshops with the artists, but the teachers only had the November one with Pedro and the September workshops where they really like engaged quite a lot and felt like they needed more. So in actually trying to work with them, we created a community of practice WhatsApp group where we will continue even after the financial funding year, which ended on the 30th of September, to engage with them and assist them and be able to continue with this program throughout, well, the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And so now we're going to move on to our last pillar, connect and advocate. And this is all about partnerships. You've heard the word partnership a lot, I think, today. One of our new partners that we've been very delighted to be working with is something called AfriArts Connect. And if you haven't yet had a look at AfriArts Connect, I would really recommend that you do so. It is a wonderful online community of artists trying to bring together artists from across the country, working across all sectors. And I believe that it's going to be a real space for collaboration and exchange. ASSITEJ is offering a lot of services through AfriArts Connect, and also we are providing a lot of the content for the the Theatre for Young Audiences kind of section of the AfriArts Connect platform. So please do have a look at that and engage with it. It's really worthwhile. Ryan, I'm going to introduce you now to just speak a little bit about the partnerships that you've been responsible for brokering. In many ways, I feel like Ryan is our master of partnerships. He is brilliant at finding unlikely but wonderful ways that people can collaborate and doing incredible things. So Ryan, won't you speak a bit to some of the partnerships that have happened through the Social Employment Fund?
Yes, good afternoon, everybody. Dumalang, Sanibonani, Molweni. If you're getting a bit tired, just do a stretch wherever you are. We're nearly there. I'm just going to do the highlights because we've heard a lot about partnerships today. And just by design, the Social Employment Fund is a partnership from the beginning. It's a partnership between government and civil society, a partnership between implementing partners and their partners, and the participants on the ground. So ASSITEJ has had some great partnerships over the last year. The first one was it was born out of a mentorship. So ASSITEJ was a mentor on the Social Employment Fund to InMed South Africa, who are an agricultural organization. And together we came up with the idea of the We Grow Together Festival that had art and the harvest and sharing of ideas all in one space, and it was a fantastic day. Also out of that partnership came the Kasi Seller Network, which is The pilot of it is happening in Orange Farm with our partner Orange Farm Dance Theatre. We're going to check in this year and see how that side hustle social enterprise can be expanded. But the premise is there's a tricycle that is running out of the Orange Farm Dance Theatre, and it's selling the harvest from InMed to the community. That's the premise. Obviously, it's got its own teething problems that we are working through, but that's the idea, and I think it's very exciting. Then we also, this year, we are mentoring a new SIP called Music in Africa, and I think there's going to be some great partnerships coming out of that one. Also a massive one last year, bringing stories to life with Nali Bali and ASSITEJ. We brought the World Read Aloud Day story alive in 5 provinces, and 5 of our partners got to, we submitted proposals, and 5 partners, 1 in each province, was chosen, and they got 30,000 Rand to bring that story to life and have an awesome day on World Read Aloud Day earlier this year. Those were Kids Entertainment in Limpopo, TAB NPC in Gauteng, a little mini consortium of CCAT, KwaMashu School of Dance, and Drama Mama in KZN, Uilo Arts Academy in Western Cape, and in Zamenang Productions in Mpumalanga. They all brought that to life. Another cool partnership was Vision to Village. This came out of a mapping exercise where there was $2,000 given to this exercise to map existing partnerships and how do we as NGOs and organizations leverage those existing partnerships that exist without trying to reinvent the wheel. That partnership has been Greater Stellenbosch Trust, ASSITEJ SA, Nali Bali, the Jakes Gerwel Foundation, and Small Projects Foundation in the Eastern Cape. It happened in Pearson, and the mapping exercise, there is a map. If someone wants to see it, you can reach out to us. It's a great map of that little community there in Pearson, Eastern Cape. But that day reached 400 children for the day. 218 screenings, health screenings were done, 44 eye tests, 29 glasses were delivered, 3,000 literacy gift packs and 500 meals. Storytelling, theatre, dance, and music was enjoyed in the 36-degree heat. With partnerships, I'm going to just go back to a well-known African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. If you want to go far, go together. And I think the Arts for Youth program and ASSITEJ is living proof of that. It's a realization of that proverb. Peace. I think, so apparently I'm doing Artivism as well. Should I just go ahead, Yvette?
Yes, please do.
Right. Global Artivism happened this time last year. It was beginning of November. If you want to know what Global Artivism is, just do a young Google search. It'll tell you all about it. But essentially, it's activists and artists together, Artivism. And it was a summit. It's a massive summit that happens. The first one that ever happened was the one that happened here in South Africa in Pretoria last year. I was fortunate to go. A lot of our Joburg team were able to go. A lot of our SEF partners and participants were able to go. It was a 3-day event of conference, discussion, debate, theatre, performances, and it was magnificent. From people from all over the globe came. And the one that just happened this year happened in Brazil at the beginning of the month. But yeah, do it. Research Global Artivism. They do calls for participation. So maybe you can be invited and go next year. I don't know where it's going to be next year, but yeah, that's me.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Ryan. So yes, we have been partnering on a lot of different levels. I think also just to say, if you're looking at the slide, you'll see some of the things that Ryan has been speaking to, but you'll also see a photo in the top left corner of the West Wind Festival, which was the last official duty that Faye Kabali Kagwa did for us before she left us, which was to represent us at the West Wind Festival in Germany, where she was presenting on the 10 Children Project, which was a project that we were investigating on the West Coast, quite similar to the project Home that Warwick was telling you about. So we're now moving on to talk a little bit more about some of the other international events that we participated in. Bright View was the ASSITEJ Artistic Gathering for 2025. And ASSITEJ South Africa was delighted to be able to be represented there by our chairperson, Lalu Makuku, and myself, director. And we also had some members there, Ingrid Wild and Akona Daweti. And we were able to participate in a meeting of the African Centers of ASSITE and to speak about African networking between Africa and the rest of the world, as well as between ourselves. And it was a very fruitful time in which a great deal of work was done on the African front. One of the exciting things which is coming out of that is that some African festivals have been identified by ASSITEJ International for funding. These are festivals based in West Africa, and we're going to look at how we can engage with them to perhaps have participation from South Africa in those festivals, or to at least have some representation there in the coming year. We've also been involved in lobbying for the National Arts Education Council. You may know that the Department of Sports, Arts and Culture asked the sector to organize itself into councils, and initially 16 councils were formed. ASSITEJ lobbied for one of the councils that had not managed to get through the gates, which was for arts education, and we are very delighted that this council has in fact now been created. I'm serving on the council as the Deputy Secretary General, and we're looking at what the synergies will be between the council, which is obviously encompassing all of arts education, lifelong, life-wide, from early years all the way into adult education, tertiary education, etc. And one of the things that it is intending to do is to provide accreditation for artists who are working in the kinds of programs that we've been talking about. Obviously, it is the newest of the sector councils. It is still, formulating its way forward, but there has been a national roadshow, and I think some of you may have been present at that national roadshow in the different provinces. There's only one province that it has not yet gone to, which is the Northern Cape, and that is going to be where the AGM of the NAEA, National Arts Education Authority, will be held. So that's still coming up, and please do keep your eye on that and get involved where you can. Other partnerships have, of course, also been with organizations such as Taking Care of Business, that has provided us with wonderful staff training. The Green Light organization, which has been helping us with surveys around people's attitude towards their economic and social standing. And it's a really fantastic tool for monitoring impact. Yazom Consulting, who you heard about in Ompile's piece around fundraising. They've been very important to us this year in terms of developing our sustainability plans. The Biz Guy, who's been involved in helping us to find potential funders for our Cradle of Creativity for next year. And Penny Morris, who's also been involved in supporting the Nompilo project to get off the ground. And I'd like to thank all of them for their support and engagement. We are also very excited that we are about to start work with a new program tool, which is called ClickUp. It is an online tool which we hope is going to make us even more superpowered and super fantastic than we are already, and certainly a lot more streamlined, we hope. And we are in the process of putting that tool in place and bedding it down as part of our operations within ASSITEJ. So that brings me to the end of our report on the year that was. And I'm going to hand back to Lalu, although I think she'll probably have...
Thank you. Wow. I can see that there have already been some comments in the chat, and that's what I would like us to spend a little bit of this next minute saying something on the chat in terms of any response that you might have had regarding the director's report, but I will open for 2 hands just to say something verbally. So we're going to do it simultaneously. We're going to do both on in the chat, and that's how it's going to be captured for our minutes. But I just need to say that I'm super excited just for you, Mongezi, to note that you were mentioned. I think this is what ASSITEJ does. It's very rife to be in the council culture, but we name and we see each other. So any comments from the director's report? Anybody would like to say something? And also just an invitation for us to be saying some things in the chat. Any questions? And there's an important question from Mongezi actually now, which is also asking, when do you guys sleep? So I'm sorry, I just see the name, but I'll just say what I see. So Sunshine first, Sunshine, and then okay, and then Mongezi, then it's you. So Sunshine, you might say something about sleeping, but the chat continues, please. Sunshine.
Good afternoon, all protocol observed. I am actually Ubuitumelo Mamba. I'm the new person or the new coordinator of the Eastern Cape that took over Masitole issue. I don't know, I'm not going to say much about the sleeping, but I just wanted to say thank you to Yvette and to everyone at ASSITEJ for actually giving me an opportunity to be able to be a part of them. And to every single individual, I know that it's not right, but I feel I should name call here. Thank you so much to Haley, Ryan, Tulu, Tembile, for coaching me and just being my go-to people at any point when I was nervous about being here, as I felt that I had like big shoes to fill. And for just, assuring me at times when I needed it most that, I was still on the right track. And to all my other coordinators as well, my colleagues, special mention to Gitu, Warwick, Pauline, and Finch. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mongezi.
Thank you so much, Chair. Congratulations, Yvette and the team. I'm excited a lot, particularly about the education council, the Arts Education Council that has been formed, because I think it is about time. What I'm also loving about the work that everybody's doing is how it touches the children, because if we're going to be changing the future of this country, it has to start at the schools. So brilliant work. Congratulations.
Thank you so much. And Yvette, I would like to invite you just to say something then around the current status of the arts sector, or is it something that one could say has actually been covered in your report under general?
Yeah, I think obviously it has been covered to some extent, but I think maybe say a few things. There are other voices here who could also add to this, but I think that the councils, while obviously there are questions about how effective they're going to be, I also believe that it is an opportunity for us really to organize as a sector. And I think we must use the opportunity as much as possible. And I'm excited, like Mongezi, around the possibilities for things like recognition of prior learning and accreditation, etc., which have been difficult areas for artists wanting to work within the school environment in particular. I also want to really say that I've been so delighted by and impressed by the support that we've had this year from the Department of Basic Education. They've really come on board in a new way for me, and it feels to me like there's been a shift there, that they are really genuinely interested and excited about the work that we are doing, that they've been delighted by Nompilo and really supportive. So I really want to thank the department for their engagement. I know it's difficult as a department. You know, you have so many pressures on you, so many things that you need to be delivering, and it can be difficult to speak to all these different players. And I have been really grateful for their support and for their engagement with the work that we're doing. And it feels like there's a very open door now where we can lobby on behalf of our members, where we can introduce our members to the department, and where we can assure the department that the work that is happening by artists is of a quality, because we are engaged in helping to quality assure it, you know. So that has been really, really wonderful to see. I think that the funding context at the moment is certainly challenging for all of us, and I don't want to underplay that at all. We've been really lucky to have managed to, you know, be successful with funding and be successful with the Social Employment Fund in particular now for the fourth time. There were a number of organizations that started in the Social Employment Fund and didn't make it through to the fourth round, you know. So we don't take that position for granted at all. And we feel a huge responsibility to ensure that what we are doing is of value to the sector. Because we have been up until now really the only organization doing arts work within the Social Employment Fund. We now have been joined by Music in Africa, as you heard, which is great. But up until now, we've been the only arts-based organization doing arts-based work. So yeah, those would be my sort of top level comments, and I'm sure that there are others
you.
that people would like to give.
Yes. And I can see there's someone in the house in Johannesburg. I would like to give you the chance to say something and then go to Vuyo and then to Lindiwe. Johannesburg? Is it an old hand? Okay.
Can you hear me that side?
We can, certainly.
Yeah, this is Sizwe. I'm one of the dinosaurs and the ancestor since the days of 2000, around 2009, 2010. And I've had a privilege of watching ASSITEJ from that tiny space at the National School of the Arts to it becoming a very important component of education in South Africa. And I'm also a direct beneficiary in terms of being trained as an artist and being introduced to the concept of arts in education. And all I want to say, thank you to ASSITEJ, and may the great work continue. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Caesar, you owe us an institutional memory. While holding on to this dinosaur experience, it's so important. And I would like to encourage you to start penning something for us. Vuyo?
Okay. I would like to thank the director's report, and it is giving clear light and direction. But it also highlights the state of the arts in the Northern Cape on two matters. For instance, if you listen to the director's report and the work that is done in other provinces, it clearly shows that there is a relationship between private and public partnership and the arts. But however, within the state of the Northern Cape, it also brings a point to say that we need to pick up our socks, and also start responding and becoming active activists for the arts and for children. And then out of it, I am inspired to see that we need to really find ways into saying that how do we also hit the ground running in forming exchange programs and platforms so that they can also have a meaningful impact, not that they do not have an impact in our communities, but also to contribute to a national and international standard. So it was just that what from the director's report, what I could pick up, and where do we stand as the Northern Cape, and what work needs to be done in order for us to catch up. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You already said a very big word, inspiration. I think inspiration actually can lead to so many avenues. I recognize that in Johannesburg, in their house, there is one more hand. Could I please give that hand to you before I go to you, Lindiwe?
Good afternoon, leaders. I hope you're okay. My name is Pinto, stage name, and ID Piwe Mulambo from Western Young Guitarists Foundation. I just want to say thank you for ASSITEJ to give us another chance. And I just want to inform about the achievement of this year, because I was celebrating our achievement for our beneficiary, who started from 2014 and then finished university last year, and then start working at the Santin, and another one is a chairperson and a Michael Seed, and the other one is working in the run back. So we're celebrating on the day of June 16 this year. So it was a lot of happiness for them. And what I'm hoping for is that this is not for myself, but for our kids and youth at the same time, because we are keeping kids from the street and give the knowledge and the wisdom for living on this world. I just want to thank you so much. And then in my requirement, what is it? What is it? Yeah. I just need help from you, everyone who watching this, and everyone who listening. We need support from any information when it comes to scholarship, funding, transport, because we're struggling when you have events. For example, this year was February. We have a program, back to school campaign. So we're struggling to have transport to transport our equipment and the kids to go to move from school to another school. So if anyone have any information for that, we are really appreciate on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I'm going to request for about 10 more minutes of your time, because I can see that we have 3 minutes to 1 o'clock, but we're just about to finish. So can I please ask for about 10 more minutes of your time, as I welcome Lindiwe to say something, and I'll close with Msawenkosi. Lindiwe, and then Msawenkosi will close for us.
Thank you, Mudula Stulo. I am commenting on the director's report, and I am also conveying a message of gratitude to everyone. We have gone national in a very big way, and it hasn't been easy as an organization, but look at us now. We as ASSITEJ have created pathways to possibilities. To the ASSITEJ management team, the national coordinators, and Yvette as the leader, the visionary, thank you for an absolutely impactful year. Collectively, we have turned ideas into action, challenges into creativity, and what ifs into we did it. To our national coordinators who are very incredible, I know you work under tremendous pressure, and I know as well with our management team, long hours and a lot of work that you have to deliver and a lot of balls to juggle in the air. The late nights, the tough calls, the quiet sacrifices that you do. Thank you. Thank you for stretching and explaining this vision into real stories on the ground. As a board, we cannot extend our hands and our feet to reach out the communities, but because we have national coordinators, what we think about, you make it a reality on the ground. You are the bridge between big dreams and local realities. You're carrying theater, you carry hope. Your voices and your visibility in the communities across this county is incredible. We are indeed a living proof of what Ryan mentioned in the African proverb that if you want to go near, go alone. But we have intended and planned to go far. And therefore, when we move, let us move as one once again in the next year. Thank you to each one of you. Without our sponsors and our funders, all this will not be possible. They are the quiet power behind the spotlight, the reasons the stages light up, buses get paid, stories get told, and young people see themselves reflected in the arts. You as our sponsor and our funders, without you, we cannot achieve all of this. Your belief in ASSITEJ South Africa and the team behind it is not just financial. It's a loud yes to children of this country, to creativity, to inclusion, and to the future of this nation. Because of you, ideas become programs, programs becomes impact, and impact becomes lasting memories, skills, and confidence. More importantly, hope. Siyabonga to our funders and our sponsors. May your investment continue to ripple through classrooms, communities, and this country and beyond borders. Thank you, Mudula Stulo.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Now I won't even say anything. Let's put this as a pause. It's my conclusion. Nkosi.
Thank you very much for the platform, Chair. I'm starting at this point. I'm Nkosi Mfikeli, from the Western Cape Province, under the leadership of Mami Vedhadi as well as Butando Mkoi. So I'm starting just to congratulate the work that ASSITEJ have been done in the Western Cape Province. Not only in the SEF program, but in relation to connecting artists to opportunities, as well as ensuring that at least as artists we are being recognized. If I can recall, even starting from COVID-19, the organization has been very active in supporting artists. So till today, is making it a point that is on the ground, ensuring that artists, their voice is being heard through creativity. I would like to say that I'm sending great gratitudes, as well as hoping that the organization can keep on running, as well as mainly from Interabilities Arts Movement. We are hoping to see more collaborations. Mainly, we are working with children and young people with intellectual disabilities as well as physical disabilities. So we really appreciate the platform that we've been granted by ASSITEJ since 2022. By offering us collaboration with DCAS, whereby at least we managed to make it a point that at least the voice of people with disabilities in theater and performance space is being visible and is being heard. Because I feel like they get a platform to share their own stories. So what I'm trying to unpack now, just for the last time, I would say, is it possible to make it a point that at least the organization is creating a document whereby we have a clear communication, theater space, mainly for children with disabilities, because we only consider stories for them as well as about them, not them being part of the process. So is it possible for the organization to make it a point that at least it's documented that at least they also need to have a voice in terms of theater space being developed, inclusive and accessible space for people with disabilities, as well as collaborating with people without disabilities, so mainly for children. So we need to find a space whereby they have their voice being in theater at large, be it in written space, as well as in performance space, as well as an audience space. Thank you very much for the opportunity as well as for the platform. Thanks, Chair.
Thank you so much. I think what's also coming up from the different responses is we need to find a way in which there is also some reporting that goes into like preparations prior to our AGM, that we could even access some of these reports. You're also raising up a very important point that speaks to our pillars, and your note, your voice is noted. So I would like to make a special recognition when we come to the point of ASSITEJ International. We will be going to Korea in 2027, but we are also part of an important body called ASSITA, and I can see that the co-chairperson of ASSITA is in the house. I would like to put him on the spot for 1 minute. Jerry, if there's any comment that you might want to say to South Africa for having been here. Jerry is from Nigeria. Jerry, anything you might want to say to us? We want to recognize you as a special visitor this morning.
Hello, everyone. Good morning from Nigeria. What can I say? I have already dropped a message in the box, and I think it's just to say I appreciate the opportunity to observe this AGM, and it has been quite very inspiring. I mean, getting to see all that South Africa ASSITEJ has been doing, and of course will continue to do. There is no begging the fact that we recognize, or maybe I should say I recognize, the fact that ASSITEJ South Africa has set a very big standard for children theatre in Africa, one which we would wish that all of the national centers in Africa will key into, and of course expand the network and ensure that ASSITEJ in Africa makes such as much huge impact as ASSITEJ SA already made. The fact that ASSITEJ SA has become a critical part of the of education in South Africa is something that is is worth commending, and of course worth emulating. So I just, like I said in the chat box, I just want to say thank you. I mean, 18 years journey. So if you have done this much in the last 18 years or thereabouts, and then now you have attained, SA has attained adulthood, let me put it that way. So it shouldn't be a surprise to see ASSITEJ SA flying even better than you have done in the last 18 years. And to all of you that have made this possible, we say thank you. I say thank you. I am a huge fan of what is happening in ASSITEJ SA, and today I have had the opportunity of even seeing much more than I think I know. And I commend once again Yvette, Lalu, Lindiwe, everybody that has been Tembele. Tembele is my guy, by the way, so you should know. And I am not surprised at all. So thank you, everyone. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you so much, and keep doing what you are doing.
Thank you very much. We will keep on keeping on. Just very glad to hear that also as a national center in South Africa, we are such a positive inspiration in Africa. And the proposed dates for 2026 board member meetings will be the 19th of January 2026. I did say that we meet 4 times, and the 20th of April, and the 20th of July, the 26th of October, and the 21st November 2026, That's our next AGM. The 21st of November is a date that we'll also never ever forget, because we know what happened yesterday when we said not anymore when we talk about the plight of women. Lindiwe has already said incredible words around thanking our partnership, our partners, our funders, and I would like just to reiterate what she said, but also want to just say that really we are nothing without our members. And I would also like to thank our members and to just reiterate 100% what Lindiwe has said. This was a very emotional AGM for me. I think it's because there was just such incredible stories that were being said, but also because of the goodbyes that we've had to share. But we have to come to an end of today, and I would like to declare this meeting closed and to wish each and every one of you an awesome, beautiful day going forward. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Mudila. You've done wonders. Have a lovely weekend.
Bye-bye.
Everybody, thank you for being there.
Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Ishmael.
Bye-bye, everyone. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hi, Jerry. Nice to have you here,
Bye-bye.
Jerry.
Congratulations.
Thank you
Yeah.
so much. Thank you.
Congrats.
Very
Congrats.
nice.
Yeah. Bye-bye, everyone.
Yes. Bye, Yvette.
Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you
Joburg.
for everything.
Thank you. Wow, Joburg was full at least, hey?
Bye-bye.
Bye. Bye, Haley. Bye, Ryan. Ryan, please call me during the week. I want to talk to you about some other partnership. Is Ryan listening?
I don't know. I don't know. You might need to WhatsApp him.
Okay. All right. Ciao. Bye, Yvette.